Good morning, boys and girls. This is the last Wednesday for our videos for the garden. So we're going to start with the blackberries. And you can see the plant has gotten taller, and we have these bunches of blackberries growing. And I should be getting more. There's one down here and one here. I have about 7 or 8 bunches of blackberries growing. We have our raspberries, which are getting bigger, and our golden raspberry, which is even bigger. So hopefully we'll get some more of those over the summer. Our pepper plant has gotten bigger, and our tomatoes are starting to get big. I'm going to go over the tops of all of those like I did before, and you can see how much taller they're getting. They were below that ring of wire before, and they're getting a lot bigger now. So we'll be able to get some tomatoes. We're going to go on to the garlic. And our garlic, of course, has gotten bigger. I'm hoping to harvest some of that soon. As we go down, we have the astilbe flowers, and you can see that flower stem has gotten nice and big. It was a lot shorter before, and the plants are going to start to open their flowers sometime soon. And we have our Asian herb. Last week, the leaves were kind of small. This week, they're getting big. And I showed you this squash plant and told you that it would start to grow up that branch. You can see that both plants have started to wrap a little vine around that branch, and it will continue to climb up. Our patch of grass is filled in very nicely, and we'll be able to cut that this week. And we have our flowers and our hosta, which has come back after the deer have eaten it. And we have our persimmons tree. Now the flowers are starting, I'm going to go in the shade, are starting to open. I'm going to show you. They have a nice little yellow flower, and that's where the persimmons will be. So we have lots of these little yellow flowers starting to form and open, and hopefully we'll have some persimmons this year. We, of course, have the lily of the valley leaves and our coral bells, which, like I thought, I'm getting flowers this year. And you can see those little tiny flowers are starting, which will be really pretty. And we have a new plant coming in here. That will come in the summer, and that's called a dahlia. Only one came up. I'm hoping the others do soon. And we're going to go over, we have our lilies. And these lilies are also starting to get their flowers in the top. And I'm very glad to say there are no pests. So now we have bachelor's button again. Some are starting to die, but that's what they do. And we have our clematis, which now has a lot of pretty purple flowers on it. And more coming in, you can see. And this is the pink one. Waiting for more flowers on that pink one. So we have 3 different kinds here. We have this one. We have a light purple, those big fat green leaves, and we have this dark purple with the different leaves. So there's the same plant, just 3 different kinds. We have that fuchsia plant, which is still producing flowers. We have the big ones, and now we have the new ones that are just starting, and they'll do that all summer for me. And we have our radishes, which last week were kind of small. They're getting a lot bigger now, and hopefully I'll get some radishes growing under the dirt very soon. Our lavender plant is starting to sprout the purple flowers that will grow on it, and it will keep the mosquitoes away because that's what lavender plants do. Now we're back at the herbs again. Not much has changed since 2 days ago when I showed it to you. I have a couple more plants that are getting bigger. This sage I'll have to cut. But they're just going to keep growing nice and big so I can cut them and dry them. And we're going to go into the big garden. And you'll see our red and white potatoes are getting very, very big. Last week, I believe this plant was very small, and you can see they've grown very big. And under the ground, potatoes are going to grow. And we have our tomatoes and the leeks. We're going to go around the other side of the tree. And we've got our eggplants that are starting to grow big. The carrots, well, the carrots aren't doing so well. And those are the smaller seeds, so hopefully those will come in. And we have our endive. I'm going to start to cut that for salad. Then we have our green squash and our yellow squash. And we have the cabbage and the red peppers. Now the red peppers here are getting a little flower on them, so we should get some red peppers sometime soon. We have one watermelon plant hanging on. I hope it lives. And this is our pear tree. You can see the small pears that are coming out on there. And we have our sweet potatoes. And those vines are getting nice and big and filling out the pot. Hopefully we'll have some nice sweet potatoes soon. As you can see, the green beans are getting very bushy. If you remember, there was a lot of space between them. Well, now there isn't. And the peas in the back are starting to grow their flowers. They have these white flowers, and wherever those white flowers are is where we're going to get a pea pod, so we can get some peas out of those. And we have our Brussels sprouts, which won't come in until October. And we have our green gourds, Asian ones, and the lemongrass. You can see from last week, the lemongrass looked like this last week. You can see there's some new green leaves sprouting up in the middle, which means they're going to grow, and I'll be able to cut that and use that. We have the lettuce, lots of lettuce. I think I'm going to pick that tonight for our hamburgers. And there's our big cucumbers. They were really tiny before. They're coming in. And in the middle is the celery. It's still there. It's growing. Now we're at that side garden. Our lilies are getting bigger. Now, lemon balm. Now here's our Chinese balloon flowers. Those little teeny tiny things. I'm actually going to have to tie them up. You see they're so tall now. They're covering half the fence. They are so tall now. I'm going to have to tie them up, or they're going to fall all over and kill the other flowers. So, and there's our big lily. So hopefully we'll get some nice flowers. Purple from those. Now our coreopsis is starting to grow its yellow flower right there. At the tops of these, you'll see these little yellow buds. That's going to be the yellow flowers that they grow very soon. Nothing much has changed here, but it will. Oh, well, we've got a white bleeding heart. We had the red ones. There's the red ones, or the pink ones, and now we have a white one. The white one sometimes comes in a little bit later. I even have a new one growing right there. And we've got our hydrangea plant. So all of this is staying about the same. As I go around the front stairs, there are the peonies. The big pink peonies you've been waiting to see. Wow. This one's the newest one. See how pretty that flower is. And that'll die and more will grow. But you can see, it's a big flower. With a yellow center. I'll come back over here and show you the yellow center here as this one's dying. In the very center, It's got those yellow, what they call stamens. And the stamens are where all the pollen is. You brush it, you see the pollen on my finger. And that's what the bees come and take. That's all the pollen. You can see it inside the flower petal. Just sitting on the petal. And that's what the bees will come and take later. So we have our beautiful peony plant that you saw come through the ground and all the way up to this beautiful pink flower. Now we have a new plant in here. And that's an orange tree. It's going to grow little oranges, maybe. We'll bring that in the winter, like the lemon tree we have by the herbs. And here is our apple tree. Again, you can see the apple pears are starting to get nice and big, and you can see that there are a lot of them on all the plants, the stems. Last is our strawberry plant. And you'll see that we're still getting a couple of strawberries here. So I will pick the last of these berries. We're going to get a few more because there's still some white flowers. And that's the last of the strawberries. And we have our hot peppers, which we'll have to plant. And a couple other plants in our new little pots that we'll plant as well. And that, boys and girls, is the last video for the first grade year of our plants. I was very happy that we were able to share this together, and hopefully you'll learned a little bit about how to garden and grow your own food. And if you have a spot, I hope you're doing it as well. Bye.